Shalom Israel. This is Israelite School of UPK. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jayhana. Hey, sorry. Give me this right here. Give me that water bottle. This is Israelite School of UPK. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jayhana. I'm precinct officer of 1,000 Notches Out. Today is Wednesday night biblical law class. Today's topic is joining gangs. You know what I mean? Unindoctrinated joining gangs. And why that's so important, it's so important because, you know, our youth, when you look at Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Sacramento, Oakland, you know what I mean? All of the young men that's growing up that's all the young men that's growing up, instead of them getting an education or starting a business, raising a family, you know what I mean, or doing their duties as a young man or a man, um, they join the gang. You know what I mean? And a lot of brothers in UPK was once a part of that. Go, bye bye. A lot of brothers was once a part of gangs, and sometimes when you living in poverty stricken neighborhoods, you less fortunate, lack of education, it's easy for you to join the gang because what's the word? It meets it. Go, no, don't do that because it meets the youth's social needs. You know what I mean? A lot of time, brothers growing up, especially when you're a youth, you have social needs of like wanting to be accepted, wanting to be popular, wanting to hang around the opposite sex, beautiful women. I mean, you don't want to be seen as the outsider. So you're gonna smoke weed, you're gonna join the gang, you're gonna skip class, you're gonna do all these different things. But we don't understand is that the Lord set up a structure in the Bible. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me get that right quick. I'm gonna get First Corinthians, I think 11:1. Hey, go. I'm gonna get First Corinthians. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's First Corinthians because the Lord set up a order for all Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians to have a successful family, so we can have a successful nation. He set up a order, and because of the Christian church, we don't know that order. Everybody does what they want. The woman, because she makes the most money in the relationship, she wears the pants. The children, because they see daddy listen to mommy because the money that she make, they don't listen to him. And the whole family structure is just completely out of order. And the people to blame, the person to blame for that is the Christian church and the Christian pastor. You know what I mean? Because fixing black people has never been their concern. So let's see what the Bible says. Let's go to First Corinthians 11. Uh, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. Let's start there. It say, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am a follower of Christ." So this is Paul saying, follow me as I follow Christ. And like I said, there's always a structure. There's always a rank and order in anything that we do as Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. That's why what did the Lord say? The Lord say He is the Lord of hosts. What does host mean? He is the Lord of armies. He is the Lord of ranks and order. You understand? That's the God that we serve. We don't serve the God that allows anybody to do anything, allow the women to lead the man, allow the children to cut their rods off and become women, allow the young sister to cut their breasts off and become men. It's order. The Lord is not the author of confusion, and it's confusion if we're not going off the order that the Lord set up. So what did Paul say? Paul said, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ." So when Christ passed on, he left the mantle to Paul. You understand? And then Paul left it to brothers after him. He left to a brother. It's always going to be. What's up, Mama? I want more. Okay. Black people there. Sorry. Give her He gonna get you one, mama. And you're right about y'all just about to die. You know what I mean? So the Lord always set up order, and if we not following that order, then we gonna fail as a nation. We gonna fail as a family. We gonna fail as a community. We gonna fail all the way around the board. You understand? And that's what Paul's saying. Paul's saying, "Follow me as I follow Christ." And there's no difference from when if you the older brother and you got a family, right? Let's say you got siblings, you got little brothers and little sisters. When your parents are not around, when your parents not there, guess who's in charge when the parents not there? The older brother. By default, the older brother is in charge of all his younger siblings because he's the oldest. I let pick it up, pick it up. Sorry, help her because hold on, let me get this right. You have to squeeze it out a little bit so she can get it. So when the parents are not around, the oldest brother or the oldest sister, the oldest sibling is in charge of her younger siblings. Christ passed, and then Paul became the person who was in charge. You understand that? That's how it goes because we follow a God of army, a God of host and order. So let's keep reading. It say, "Now I praise ye, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them unto you." You know what I'm saying? What are the ordinances? All these laws, statutes, and commandments and sayings that came from the men above him, that came from Isaiah, Jeremiah, Uzzah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. All these, you keep all these things. That's why the scriptures say the things that's written before time are written for our learning. And what he's telling them is you remember these things. Remember all these ordinances that the Lord set up and that the Lord gave us, right? So let's keep reading. He said, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God." So let's read that again slowly. He said, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. The head of every man is Christ. That's the standard. That's who is above us. Christ. Here you go. You understand that that's the order that's set up. Not your Christian pastor, not your Muslim imam, not your grandma, not your girlfriend, not your children. We're black men today that we so beaten to submission. We allow everybody to be our head. When the scriptures say that Christ is supposed to be our head, this is the order that was set up for the black family. You understand? It said, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man." Right? It didn't say that the head of the woman is the man if he makes more money. That's not what it said. Because, like I said, a lot of times, depending on who makes the most money in a relationship, that's who wears the pants in a relationship. You understand? Hey, go, go. That's who wear the pants in a relationship. But that's not how the Lord. That's not how the Lord set it up. Go. That's not how the Lord set it up. The Lord said that the man is the head of every woman. You understand? Amatazai. Go. You understand? So let's keep reading. It said, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man." And why is this so important? Because when you look at today's society of Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian men and women, this is not the order that we're not following this order. You understand? I know specifically in the Black community, Hispanic community. Well, when you look at our community, the women rule over our community. You understand? You know why? Because the Christian pastors tell them that's their seat, that's their job. You know what I mean? That's their position. They supposed to rule over. If he don't make more money, you kick him out of the house. He don't need to be sleeping on your couch. You understand? Hey, Matamia, yo, you understand? But this is the order that the Lord set up for the Black community, for so we can be successful, like everybody else. Like every other nation get this. They get it. Like when you look at like, okay, let's look at Trump. Right, Trump was the president. Trump said he grabbed women by the box, and guess what? Over I think it was over 60% of all white women voted for him still. You know why? Because they understand order. You understand? Even though he was out of pocket for what he said, and that's disgusting as hell. White women understand that they ain't nothing without their white man. You understand? But black, Hispanic, Native American Indian men and women, we don't understand that. Go. Go give it to Sire. Thank you. All right. So it said the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. It's always an order. And on the side note, that that completely takes away the narrative that Christ is God, because it just said that the head of Christ is God. So how can Christ be God? If you know what I mean, it just don't make no sense. But that's the order that the Lord set up, and like I said, that's so important, because if we lived by that order, you would not see the black community in shambles. Like, you wouldn't see sisters 13, 14 years old pregnant, hiding that they pregnant all the way until summertime, to where they can't hide that they pregnant no more. You understand? Like, it was a few times with me growing up, right? I'd be in school, and then a sister, she'd be always wearing hoodies, and then she'd just disappear one day and be gone for hella long. Then she'd come back, and then everybody like, yeah, she had a baby. I'm like, God damn, we in middle school. What the hell? I was wondering where she went. That would not be happening if we had order. You understand? We followed this order that Christ set up. Even brothers, you got brothers who they ain't seen their father since last time they seen their father was inside a goddamn prison institution, and he had to put his palm on the window, and you know what I'm saying, and put his father's palm on a goddamn plexiglass that's 3 inches thick. You understand? So now he got to get raised by his mom in the streets and a local drug dealer. That wouldn't be happening if we followed the order that the Lord set up. You understand? So let's drop that, and let's get Second Kings. Second Kings chapter 2 verse 20. Because that's the only reason why young brothers join gangs is because there's no order in the home. You understand? I led. Stop. The only reason why sisters become whores, because there is no order in the home. All right, so let's go to Second Kings. All right, go help her now. Don't help her with it. Don't just sit there and listen to her cry. Salakia, y'all. Second Kings chapter 2 verse 20 and verse 1. And it say, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz came to him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. That's what we supposed to do as Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian men and women. Hey, y'all should mouth about some shots, sis. That's what we supposed to do. We supposed to set our house in order. And the only way that you ain't gonna be able to set your house in order because you make millions of dollars. Like, you can, like, look at, like, for instance, look at the brother John Morant. John Morant signed a quarter of a he's a basketball player. He signed a $250 million deal, and he's rich. He don't come from poverty. He don't come from the slums. He don't come from that type of lifestyle, right? But still, he portrays himself as a gang member, as, you know what I'm saying, as somebody that should be feared or respected because he come from the streets. And the Lord say, set our house in order. So what I'm saying is that you can make all this type of money, and you can come from a two-parent household, but if your family is not, if your foundation of how you built your family ain't the foundation that the Lord set up, it's always going to fail 9 times out of 10. You understand? But a lot of people won't realize that and see that if if they have money. You understand? If you got money, you think that you made it. You don't think nothing wrong with you. That's why like heathens like Elon Musk, all them they got millions of dollars, and because in our community, women say, I ain't gonna listen to you unless you got money. If he got money, I do whatever he say. Elon Musk got billions of dollars. His wife still left him. You know what I mean? So money ain't the solve. It ain't gonna solve all your problems, man. It ain't gonna fix your family structure. It ain't gonna do that. It might help, but it ain't gonna fix nothing. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna fix everything. But that's why God said what? He said, set thine house in order. That's what we supposed to do. We supposed to set our house in order. And how do we do that? By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of God. Understanding that there's God, there's Christ. Amatazai, stop. And then understanding that the man is over the woman in that way. That's what we're supposed to understand. But if we don't understand that, we gonna fail as a community. You understand? Be, be quiet. Sorry, don't let him fall out that chair, bro. All right. But it says, set thine house in order. You don't have the Christian church teaching black people to set their house in order. You don't have the Catholic Church telling black people to set their house in order. In fact, they telling woman, thou art loose, do whatever the hell you want to do. Get that man out the house. What else? They telling women, yeah, you can abort your baby. We pro abortion. You know what I mean? They telling our people all kind of wickedness, and then we turn around and wonder in amazement, how the hell is it a Christian church on every corner and the black community is still destroyed? It's because what they teach in there is not the truth. That's why John 8:32 say you shall know the truth and it shall set you free. Black people, we ain't free from being number one in prison. We ain't free from being number one in AIDS and abortion. We ain't free from none of these things that affect our community. Hey, go. Stop. We're not free from none of these things. You know why? Because we learning from somebody who's actually disobeying God. You know what I mean? But because he has a nice suit, a nice car, hey, stop. We romanticize over these things because he got a beautiful wife, a nice car, and he got money and he talk good. We romanticize over, and we hang off every word that he say, and we destroy because of it. Amatazai, you need to stop that right now. Go somewhere. You understand? So let's drop that. Let's go to Mark chapter 3, verse 27. Mark chapter 3, verse 27. And also, man, make sure you put your name, city, and state. You got any questions? Be sure to ask Baba Kasha. Let's go to Mark chapter 3, verse 27. Yeah, but like I was saying though, everything I'm bringing up right now is heavy, right? But you go to church and you only learn about John 3:16. God loves everybody. That's all you learn, and how to sing and to dance. But what about the problems that you have in your household? Who do you go to? Who can answer your questions? Who do you get counsel from? You understand? Where's the scriptures on that? Because everything's in the Bible. You understand? Anything that you need in life is in this Bible. Let's go to Mark chapter 3, verse 27. It says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man. You see that? It said, no man can enter into a strong man's house unless what? Because look at, if you can't, it's hard for you to enter into a strong man's house. It's impossible. You understand? Especially a strong man, not physically, but one that keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? That follow Christ. That's in our. It's hard to do what? Let's read it again. No man can enter into a strong man's house. Look, it's impossible, damn near, for you to enter into a strong man's house, except or but and spoil his goods, except a righteous man. It's hard to enter into his house and spoil his goods. You understand that? That's hard to do. Like, if we had these law statutes, let's just go back to the war on drugs, right? If black people live their life based on these law statutes and commandments, right? When they came to Freeway Rick Ross or whatever young brother that came to and was like, man, we gonna give you millions of dollars in kilos and millions of dollars, and you just distribute it all over the world, and we gonna become partners and become rich. You understand? Off destroying your people. If we lived off these law, statutes, and commandments, there would be nobody to accept that. You wouldn't have anybody to go to and say, man, look, I got millions of dollars in cocaine, and I mean, we can distribute this all over the world and become rich and famous. You wouldn't be able to manipulate nobody off of that dream. You won't be able to do it. But the reason why you're able to manipulate people off that is because we don't follow the Lord. We don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. But the only reason why you're able to manipulate our women off of that because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Only way you're able to manipulate a woman off of committing abortion and throwing that baby in the trash can, and you know what I'm saying, manipulate brothers to think that another black man is their enemy. I gotta shoot up the block. You know what I mean? I gotta rob, steal, kill, destroy. You only able to manipulate black people because we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Because the laws is what make us strong. That's why we teach in the law class today. The laws of God is what make black and Hispanic people strong. You know what I'm saying? But you would never learn that going to church because they teach prosperity. That's their whole foundation of what they teach is prosperity speaking. You know what I mean? Man, you give me this much money, you gonna get it back tenfold. And because black people was in extreme poverty, we like, damn, I'm willing to gamble and take that gamble. And then we spend a whole we spend the whole 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s of all our grandmas paying these people million, like the Christian church has got over, I think, $80 billion. Not I think, but over $80 billion since the 80s. Not million, $1 billion from the black community. And you mean to tell me that we still destroyed? Why don't they have any solutions? You understand? Why grandma got to go in the courtroom and explain why her 15-year-old son just shot a whole block with a Draco and murdered 3 people? You understand? Why we got to do that? It don't make no sense, man. But what did it say? It said, "No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods." No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods. It's damn near impossible. You understand? And why? Because nobody, our oppressor, they cowards. You know what I mean? All these different nations that oppress black people, they Matazat, stop. They cowards. You understand? So they not gonna attack somebody or try to spoil somebody that's strong. They gonna go for the person that's weak. They will go for the nation that's weak. That's why you hurt yourself. Just leave it alone. Go play. Yeah, go play. But let's read that again right quick. It said, "No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he first bind the strong man." Look, ain't nobody gonna enter into a strong man's house and try to spoil him. What does spoil mean? Rob him. You understand? Rob him of his children with CPS. Rob him from his woman with the feminist movement. You know what I mean? Rob him from his duty as a man. Nobody that's smart will try to rob a black man and follow God. Nobody would do that. But so you know what they got to do? They got to manipulate you and trick you into being a drug dealer. They got to manipulate you and trick you to popping Percocets and smoking weed and getting high. You understand? And claiming this block and shooting this brother. They have to, because when you're strong, you're not gonna fall for the tricks. You ain't gonna fall for something weak like selling drugs. You ain't gonna fall for something weak like abortion. You ain't gonna fall for something weak like having sex with a woman and throwing her away. That's a weak mind frame. You understand? Because it destroys your people. So what do they got to do? What did it say? No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man. Right? They got to bind the strong man, and then they able to spoil his goods. What is his goods? His family. You understand? His wife, his children, everything that belongs to him. He ain't able to do that. Your land. You understand? Your heritage. They not able to spoil your goods unless they first be able to bind you. And what do they bind black men with? What do they bind Hispanic men with? They bind us with Hispanics hate black people. Black people hate Hispanics. You understand? They bind us with crack is more important. Money is more important. You understand? They bind us with those things. They bind us with, hey, get this abortion. You got a whole career ahead of you. You don't have time for it, baby. They bind us with those things, man. You understand? That's how. But they had to manipulate to be able to bind us. Somebody had to open the door and told them that, hey man, this person coming in is my friend, man. You should trust him. They had to manipulate us, and that's what the Christian church. That's his whole job. His job is to befriend you, and then open the door for the robber, and then convince you, even though you looking at the robber, you see he got a ski mask on. He poo shiesty down. He got a whole ski mask on. You understand? All black. You seeing that he's a robber. The Christian, the pastor's job is to manipulate you and say, hey, look, it's not what it looked like. He just came back from hunting. He just looks like that. It's not what it looked like. And then you end up on drugs somewhere strung out. Then you end up like Franklin off Snowfall. You understand? That's their job, and that's why it's important for Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians to understand the order that the Lord set up for us. The Lord set up a whole order for us, to where you ain't gotta be manipulated, you ain't gotta be bamboozled or lied to and tricked and manipulated. You ain't got to. You understand? All right, but we're gonna drop that. Let's go to Job 39:17. But that's how I do. He. You gotta bind a strong man, so I get him down before he falls. You gotta bind a strong man before you're able to spoil his wife. Like black women is spoiled in America. Hispanic women is spoiled, man. Like I said, whoever make the most money, that's who wear the pants. You understand? They don't want to listen to nothing a man got to say because of the feminist movement. All women is spoiled. Let's go to Job 39:17. Let's go to Job chapter 39, verse 17. Let's see. And if you got any questions, man, make sure you put your questions in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Put your name, city, and state. Let's go to Job chapter 39, verse 17. The book of Job, chapter 39, verse 17. Because God have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. Right. The feminist movement came and they hijacked all our women from us and manipulated us. You understand? Manipulated our women. And our women fell for it. Why? Let's read this again. You know what I'm saying? They fell for putting your man side, get him down. They manipulate our women to say, hey man, put him on child support, get him out. I was just at the courthouse like 2 days ago, right? And you'll be surprised how many women I've seen in that courthouse saying, I already put him on child support, now I'm filing for full custody. And then like they so eager to help these women, man. Meanwhile, this brother probably ain't did nothing. You understand? Why would you want to destroy your family like that to prove a point? You understand? I think nowadays women think that they're strong when they able to say, "Hey, yeah, I put my baby daddy on child support. Yeah, man, I put him on. Yeah, I went and got 4." They think that's strong. You understand? Having a little red table talks. But what did God say? He said, "Because God have deprived her of wisdom." God deprived the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian of wisdom. They don't know and understand what it takes to run a household, to raise children, to have a family. They don't understand that. You understand? What did God say? Let's read it again. Because God have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. She does not understand that she needs a black man or a Hispanic man, a Native American Indian man. She don't understand that. But guess what? Every other race understand that shit. It's like my language. Every other race understand it though. But the Lord said, what? He deprived her of wisdom and understanding. Women don't have what it takes. They don't understand or nor have the wisdom on what it takes on how to run a successful household and raise children. They don't understand it. They don't have a clue at all. You understand? That's why they put brothers on child support. And what they do with the money, they go buy bundles and lace tops. And then you see, then they lead the kid with grandma. Grandma been raising this the kid the whole time, but she getting child support from him. You understand? And ain't nobody gonna listen. Ain't nobody gonna listen to grandma. So then the kids end up in the streets, and about the time they 12, 13 years old, they murdering and robbing. You understand? That's literally what goes on in the black community. Who I know, man. Ask your homies who they was raised by. They gonna say grandma. You understand? They gonna say grandma. All these children that's running around shooting up the block, having abortions, doing all type of evil in the neighborhood. Those are the children of the religious grandma. That's she the one raising them to be like that. You understand? They becoming like that. Why? Because the Lord said what? Because God have deprived her of wisdom. The Lord deprived the woman of wisdom and understanding. She don't know what it takes to have a successful family and to run a household. That's what the man was created for. That's our duty. That's our job. But they bind the strong man and they able to spoil his goods by manipulating his woman. Like who? Like who also did that? Who was able to bind Adam, the serpent in the garden? You understand? Adam listened to his woman, and he was binded. Go, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Go, Matazah. Go. By dad, go. I mean, she was manipulated. Hey, Shalom of Christ, sis. She was manipulated, and she was able to get, and in return, she binded her man. It ain't no different. What happened in the garden ain't no different from you putting your man on child support and kicking him out your house and doing all that. Ain't no different. He said Nigerians are our brothers. Yeah, you know you catting off right now. Nigerians ain't nobody brothers. They definitely not mine. Nigerians is backwards, bone eating, ashy Africans. But that's a whole nother story. We might teach that tomorrow or something. I don't know. But yeah, Africans ain't our brothers. They ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. You understand? So stay on topic if you want to be in the class. You understand? But yes, the Lord deprived her. Stop before you hurt your foot. The Lord deprived her of wisdom, and that's why we got to understand our role as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man, and understand how important it is. Because if you take your role as a man lightly, then not only are your children gonna be destroyed, but your community will be destroyed. You gonna be every time you hear you gonna turn into grandma. Every time you hear some sirens, you gonna have to call your goddamn kids because you don't know if they didn't shot somebody or they got shot. You understand? Every time you see somebody they got kidnapped, they was walking up on a whole stroll and they got kidnapped and nobody ain't seen them in a few days. You gonna be worried to death. You understand? You gonna be worried to death because you don't know. You don't know. You understand? But the Lord deprived her of wisdom. They get the man out of the household, put him on child support, and then they sneak off with some other man. You understand? And go on some vacation, and then the whole time while they on calling me. So like, you understand? Like I said, but they put the man on child support, kick him out the house, and then they go marry or go start having sex with the person with their work husband, and then they go on vacation and you know what I mean and try to act like they by themselves on the whole time they're on vacation with this yeah, my bad, Salakia for the inconvenience. I keep getting phone calls. You understand? But yeah, then they sneak off and go to some island and act like they by themselves the whole time they went there with a damn trick. The whole time they went there with their damn work buddy and left the kids with grandma. Grandma been sitting there raising the damn kids since they was babies. You understand? But you won't be able to tell that because they manipulating you with social media. But that's where our women then came. That's the condition our women our level our women that came down to, right? Because the Lord deprived her of wisdom. She don't have the wisdom that it takes to run a successful household or even raise children by herself. Because that's not her job. You understand? Hey, you stop. That's not her job. Let's go to Proverbs 22:6, and that's why brothers end up in gangs. You understand? Because they want to be accepted. They don't want to be looked at as the oddball. They never had a dad around, and if they did, and the stories that they do hear about their dad, oh man, he knocked people out. He was a killer. He was a shooter. He went to prison. So they try to live up to that because people glorify it like it was something great, when really ain't nothing great about that at all. You understand? There's nothing great about going to prison and going in jail or murdering somebody. It's absolutely not great. You understand? So let's go to Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Hey, you need to go. Go. All right. Proverbs, don't throw that. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. All right. Proverbs chapter 22. Proverbs, that's like it. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right. But a woman, that's not her job. We just read when the Lord said He deprived her of wisdom and understanding. She don't have. That's not her duty. It's not her job to raise up a child the way he should go. That's a man's job. A man teaches his daughter how to be a woman or be a lady. You understand? And to be able to get a husband that's about something and be with him for the rest of his life, her life. You understand? Um, Women don't do that. Women, I ain't gonna say all of them. I'm not speaking about every woman because I know sisters in UPK don't do that, and it's a few other sisters in the world who might not do it either. But for the majority, women don't do that. Soon as the dad let the mom and the dad separate, right? The 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 mom start allowing her daughter, she 10 years old, 12 years old, to wear thongs and crop tops and tight leggings on, and you know what I mean, and just crazy stuff. She allowed to get lip piercings and nose, when she allowed to do all this. And then if the dad say something about it, like, what the hell's going on, man? You got my daughter, she out here looking like a whore. She young. They use her being young as an excuse to be more. She should be trying to be a whore. That's ultimately what they're saying. She's young. No, that's not no reason for you to be allowing her to dress and act like a goddamn whore. But like I said, women, they was deprived of that knowledge and that wisdom that it takes to run a household and raise children and raise a family. They wasn't given that knowledge. That knowledge was given to a man. You understand? And it said what? It said what was that? I'm tripping. Oh yeah, 6. It said, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. It's not just talking about a son. It's talking about, it said a child. It's talking about your daughter or your son. If you train him up in the way that he should go, when he get older, he won't depart from it. That's why in the ISBK, we don't teach, like, you gotta think about it, right? In the world, I was taught gang bang, young age, gang bang, throw up gang signs. You know what I mean? Smoking weed is okay. We always taught that. You know what I mean? Fighting is okay. When you got a problem with somebody, fight them. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody do nothing to you. Fight, fight, fight. We was taught all the wrong things. So then when we got up, we still behaved like how we behaved when we was children because of what we was taught. But imagine a society where you taught your children, you know what I mean, not to be a drug dealer. You know what I mean? Not to be a homosexual. You know what I mean? Not to abuse women or to abuse children or to shoot your brother. You understand? Or to do anything that's against God. But imagine a society that when you raise your children up and all your neighbors raise their children up, hey man, look here. We gonna look after the community. We gonna make sure the community is wild. We gonna make sure that nobody, you know what I'm saying, no oppressor come through here and kill nobody. And you know what I mean? We gonna make sure everybody is looked out for. We gonna help the old lady with the groceries. You understand? Or that widow who lost her husband in war. We gonna make sure she good. You know, so we gonna make sure the children good. We gonna make sure everybody. Imagine a society like that. You understand? Well, the only way you can have a society like that though is if what? Train up a child in the way that he should go. You're supposed to train your child up in the way that he should go. You know why it's so important for you to train your child up? Because your children are the future. Before, as soon as you blink and open your eyes, your life over with. I'm 31. Like I was just 15 years old. I was just 15. You know what I mean? And that was years ago. Before you blink, your life is over with. So what you have? So you have a duty. It's important for you to train your children up, especially if you lived a horrible life like I did. Go getting shot till 2 different occasions, going to prison, shooting people, shooting guns, doing all robbing, stealing, anything you could think of. You know what I mean? Your life is over with before you know it. You didn't spend about 10 years behind jail. You probably spent a year or two in juvenile hall. You didn't spend a year in the hospital recovering. You didn't lost all your friends and family members. Grandma died. There's so much hope. But look at, if you train the child up in the way that he should go, and you teach him young, hey, don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster. Man, no, don't never join the gang. You should never do that. Don't hate your brother. You're supposed to kill your brother. Love your brother. You know what I mean? If you hey man, you get with a woman, don't never leave her. Stay with her for the rest of your life. If you train a child up like that, when he get older, what did it say? And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You teach a child those good things. When he get old, he won't depart from it. You know why? Because that's all he knows. And not only teach him those things, but be that example. You understand? But be that example. So then when he get older, he won't depart from none of the things that you taught him. So then you don't have to worry about him going out here and murdering somebody. So now you got to sit here and write a letter to the judge on how much of a good kid he was. When the whole neighborhood know he didn't kill 6 people, he robbed everybody. You won't have to do that if you train them from when they're young and which way they should go. You understand? Because if you allow him to do it himself, or you allow him to follow you and how you live, like what the scripture say, there's ways, it's a ways that seem right to a man, but the end thereof is death. It's a lot of different ways that seem right to a man. You know what I mean? Robbing somebody because you broke, that seemed right. That seemed absolutely logical and right. I'm broke. This nigga got some money. We ain't cool like that. Give it here. That seemed absolutely right. Oh, you a young sister. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I can sell some box, man, for this one time, and then get this $200 I need to do whatever the hell I want. Then 10 years down the line, you've been home for 10 years, and you didn't even want to start off like that. But if you had a father to teach you from when you was young on which way you should go, hey, don't dress like that. Put some goddamn clothes on. No, you too young to get piercings and all that. Chill out. You doing too much. Hey, look, hey, tell your son, hey, no, you ain't going out to hang out over there. They over there selling dope and shooting and all that. Look, you ain't going. You want to get shot? You know what I mean? You want the police to pull up on you, and you ain't doing none of that. You know what I mean? You ain't doing. You need a father to be able to enforce discipline in the household. And if you don't have that, your household will be in shambles. A woman will never be able to train a child up and know where he should go. You understand? But there's ways to seem right to a man, and at the end thereof is death. So we're gonna drop that, and let's go to 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. But that's why you need a man in the household, because he's gonna enforce that discipline and make you afraid to come in when those street lights is on. Oh man, the street lights on. I need to get home. He gonna make you afraid to want to sell drugs. Oh hell no, I ain't selling no drugs. My dad would kill me if he found out I was selling drugs. I ain't got no need. Like you need to follow. Nobody's scared of their mother. Nobody's scared of grandma. I was 10 years old taking the belt. I don't know what you talking about. Well, when my dad came around, oh yeah, I tightened up real quick. Yeah, I wasn't trying to tweak. No orders with pops. I wasn't trying to do none of that because I know I'm spooked. He ain't playing no games. But moms, man, whatever. Y'all got suspended, so what? Whatever. You know what I mean? That's literally how it was. And if you don't have that level of fear, or you don't have your father figure around, you gonna end up joining the gang, or you gonna end up going to all these different vices that you think is family or in love. You know what I mean? Or vices that you think make you happy when really you're just trying to fill a void. You understand? So let's go to 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. It said, "For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous." You see that? It said, "This is at Matazah, go." It said, "This is the love of God, that we keep His commandments." That's the love of God. You do what God says to do. The love of God is not just saying you, "Oh, I love you, and love. I'm so happy, you don't want to cry right now." That's not love. You understand? Love is you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And why is this important? Why is knowing what love is? Why is it so heavy and so important? Because if we as Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian men, hey, go. If we as Black and Native go, if we as Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian men and women knew what love was, then guess what? When we was young, we would have never went to that drug dealer and thought that buying some 8-ball from him was love because he looked out for me and gave me a dope ass price. We wouldn't think that selling box for my boyfriend because I want to be with him so bad is love. We wouldn't run to all these different vices trying to find love. You know how many brothers run into the neighborhood drug dealer thinking that they found love because they getting weed for the low and they able to sell and make a few dollars, only to smoke a blunt with somebody that was laced and they end up out their goddamn mind. You understand? You know how many sisters, if they do understood that love was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, would have never got raped, would never sold their box because it's against the law to do that. They would never did it, but you don't know what love is, so you run to the neighborhood drug dealer, you run to doing drugs, you run to prostitution, you run to gangs. You know what I'm saying? You run to all these different vices because you don't know what it is. And that's why it's so important for us to know what it is. Like, what it say? I'll read it again, 5 and 3. It say, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. Like, okay, let's start at verse 2. It say, by this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. That's how we know that we love each other. When we love the children of God, we love our brothers and sisters if we keep his commandments. And what is his commandments? You're not supposed to hate your brothers and sisters. You understand? So then what? So then what? Joining the gang and killing your ops and turning them to a weed strand, that wouldn't be important to anybody. That wouldn't be glorified. You understand? That wouldn't be respected in the black community. If we kept God's laws, murdering somebody, murdering another black man would not be respected. Just like a snitch is not respected in the neighborhood, you murdering somebody that's black would never be respected. Nobody will ever respect you. It just wouldn't happen. You being a pimp and selling, manipulate women and sell box would never be respected. You being a woman selling box would never be respected. You know what I mean? But we don't know what love is. And that's what I actually became so important, because we let you know love is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Ain't nobody in here ever gonna tell nobody to do anything that's unlawful and against God. How you think that the Lord was able to build up the ISUBK? How you think Commander Rihanna was able to do this? Because we keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We understand that it's love. You understand? That's love. Love is an action word. You understand? It's something that you prove, and we prove that every day. We prove it every day. But your Christian pastor can't prove that by telling your daughters to murder their baby. It's not love. You understand? Telling you to come as you are. That's not love. Telling you God loves everybody. None of that is love. You feel what I'm saying? So let's drop that, and let's get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. Hey, stop it right now. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. You understand? Because the Christian pastor, he's so much of a slimy, spineless worm. He done manipulated us to think that love is just a feeling. Love is when I say something that you think is so heavy, you be on the verge of tears. That's love. No, that's not love, dummy. But I can't even blame you. I can't even blame you. You understand? Because you was taught by somebody that didn't know what love was either. And they was taught by somebody who didn't know what love either. And everybody just handing it down, generation to generation. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. Okay. Matter of fact, let's start at 6 and verse 1. All right, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord thy God commanded to teach you. You see that? He didn't say that this is the religion that I'm teaching. Matter of fact, let's drop that right quick. Let me go to let's go to Deuteronomy 4. Let's go to chapter 4 right quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. He said, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. What did the Lord say? He said he taught us statutes and judgments. He didn't teach us Christianity. He didn't teach us how to be religious. He didn't teach us how to be Muslims and Christians and all that. He didn't teach us that. What did God say? He taught black people and Hispanic people. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. The Lord taught us statutes and judgments. He taught us that you should never eat pork because it's an unclean animal. And if you do decide to eat pork, it's a judgment for it. You understand? You will get high cholesterol, diabetes, and all these other different diseases from eating those animals. Though that's statutes and judgments. He taught us that you should never kill your brother or hate your brother. And if you do, there's a judgment for that. For that statute, it's a judgment for it. What's that judgment for it? You will be put to death. You understand? That's what the Lord taught black people. The Lord taught black people that there should be no whores of the daughters of Israel or the daughters of Zion. And if there is a whore, it's a judgment for you being a whore. So what the hell is the Christian pastor talking about? You can come as you are and do whatever you want to do. That's not in the Bible. You understand? That's how you destroy a society. That's how you destroy a community. How the hell you think we've been in this situation, in this condition? We in the condition that we in because somebody's actively looking to destroy our community so they can benefit from it. That's your Christian pastor. That's literally his whole job. What did God say? Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. That's what God taught black people. You understand? That's the culture that God gave black people, not to do whatever the hell you want to do. You understand? What's going to separate you from everybody else? What's going to separate you from the animals? Amatazah. Stop. And it said, he say, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me. That he said, right, he said, I've taught you statutes and judgments that the Lord my God commanded me. God didn't teach your Christian pastor to teach your woman to kick you out the household because she make more money. That was his own doing because he wanted to get her money. You understand? God did not tell that Christian pastor to tell you to tell your daughter she should murder her baby so she can go to college. You understand? Like you graduate, you take 4 years, graduate high school, and go to college just for you to be working at Starbucks 10 years from now, just for you to be working at Target or something. And you didn't literally murder somebody to be able to accomplish that. Your Christian pastor is a disgusting, slimy beast. That's what he is. Like in real life, that's what that man is, man. And if you were smart, you would not even just the Christian church, these fake Israelite groups too. If you were smart, you would get out of these institutions, man. Like in real life, you would get out of these institutions if you was wise, if you had wisdom. You understand? But that's what the Lord taught us statutes, judgments, and that's what the role that the Christian pastor is acting like he's playing in the black community is the role that he's acting like he's playing like a Moses role, like God talked to him or something. God ain't talked to that man and told him that. You understand? You would have known if God talked to him if he was telling you the same thing that Moses was telling the people, but he ain't doing that. He ain't doing it. The Bible said don't eat pork. Your pastor coming to church with a pork chop in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Wrapped in a napkin so the grease won't get on his $10,000 suit. That's your church. You understand? He said, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Right, in the land that we go to possess it, we should do so. No matter where black, Hispanic, and Native Americans go, we supposed to be keeping the laws of God. Then there will be no black on black violence. You won't have to worry about your children joining gangs. You understand? Your little sister's prostitute. You won't have to worry about it. Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nations. Right. You see that? It said if we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, that is our wisdom and understanding in the sights of the other nations. Meaning what? Meaning the other nations, they watch black people. Why wouldn't they watch us? I mean, we the greatest. Like, look at us. Why wouldn't they watch us? We the greatest people to ever do it. You understand? We the greatest. We the greatest people on the face of the earth. Every nation notice that ain't watching us, and that's why God said, "Look at this is your wisdom and understanding in the sights of the other nations." Like other nations are supposed to see black people, and they supposed to look at us and say, "Damn, y'all don't have no black on black crime." No, we got laws against that. Hell no, we don't. You can't. No, we can't murder each other. Damn, nigga. So you mean to tell me that none of y'all steal? Hell no, we got laws against stealing. Y'all don't got nobody's a prostitute in your community. No, we got laws against pimping and prostitution. We got laws against those things. And those other nations supposed to look at us and say, damn, you know what? That is a wise people. They got understanding. We need to be like them. That's where you think Islam come from. Islam come from the whole Muslim religion. That come from the Arabs studying black people and seeing that we only worship one God. We do this. We don't eat pork. We don't do this. And they say, you know what? That's smart as hell. We about to implement that. They looked at us as a wise people. But now they don't look at black people as wise people. You know why? Because we follow our oppressor. You understand? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that right quick. What is that? Damn. We envy our oppressor. You understand? I think that's Proverbs 3:31. You understand? We envy our oppressor. So now other nations don't look at us as wise no more. Why would you don't look at somebody wise that follow you, especially when you know you're doing wrong. You ain't gonna look at them as wise. You be like, this nigga's idiot. This nigga's an idiot. I done told him to put his money into this machine about 4 or 5 different times, and he keep putting his money into this machine, losing his money. This nigga he's an idiot. They're not gonna respect you. That's black people. You know what I'm saying? We taking a gamble, we taking a risk, following Christianity, following Islam, and making ourselves second-class citizens, and it's only destroying us. You understand? It's only destroying us. And then we think that they're gonna respect us. Nobody gonna respect you for being a sucker. You know what I mean? Nobody gonna respect that. I think it's Proverbs. Let me go to Proverbs right quick. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor. That's black people problem. You understand? Proverbs chapter 3 verse 31. Is that it? Yep. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. That's what the Bible said. The Bible said, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. That's what we supposed to do. We ain't supposed to envy the people that oppress us. But that's what black people have done in America. Why you think brothers glorify Al Capone and the Valentine's Day massacre and then Scarface, you know what I mean? And all these different brothers, the Derringer brothers, and all these different mob families. Why you think that we follow them, man? Because that's like success to us. What do you say? Muhammad used to follow the Israelites around to learn their ways. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. You understand? But now what do? We follow the Arabs around to learn their ways because we think their ways is wise. We follow the Christians around to learn their ways because we think their ways is wise. And then we destroy because of it. Not only we destroy, we make ourselves a second-class citizen, and then we looking at them like they're supposed to respect us. You understand? They supposed to dap us up and say, I see you, brother. No, they don't see us. They see us, and that's why God said, this is your wisdom in the sights of the other nations. We look at it, we want them to see us, and we want to get acknowledged by them. And say, we want them to acknowledge us and say, you know what, I see y'all, man. Y'all doing good. But that's not our wisdom in the sights of the other nations is supposed to be our own culture and our own way of life, not copying somebody else. That's why the scripture said, what? Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Being a gang member, we envying our oppressor. They was the first gang members. What do you think? Go look at the Valentine's Day massacre and Al Capone and all them. They'll drive up and hang out the cars with a Tommy gun that shoot 45 caliber bullets that's strong enough to go through car engines. They'll pull up and spray the whole block. That's what. Hey, stop! But get your ass in there. Pick that up. You doing too much, bro. Pick all that shit up. Bogus shots, lock it. I mean, but that's where that comes from. That comes from them. All that old block verse. You know what I mean? All that Chicago beef, Detroit beef, St. Louis beef. All that comes from envy and our oppressor. You understand? That was never black people culture. When they was riding around with Tommy guns, which was the old school Draco, killing everybody, black people were thriving in America. You know why? Because we loved each other. You understand? We had businesses and communities where we was kind of and colleges that we was setting up and inventions that we was creating to help the black community, feed our family and farming, and we was doing all these things to benefit not ourselves but the whole black community. And then we listened to the Christian pastor who told us to follow the oppressor. And then now, look at the black community. Everybody murderers, everybody killers, everybody robbing and stealing and bipping cars, and everybody doing it. You understand? And now you got the other nations looking at us like that's black culture because we promote it so much, because there's so much propaganda with these music videos and TV and TMZ and MTV and all these different, you know what I'm saying, and NBC, ABC, all these different news outlets promoting, making it seem like this black culture when this has never been black culture. To be honest with you, this is something new to the black community. It's about 40, 50 years old. Black people weren't doing that. You understand? Sorry, be a little more quiet when you put that in there. It's getting too loud. What it say? Let's read it again. It said, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. But when you weak, you understand. What did we read at Mark 3:27? It said, no man can enter into a strong man's house unless he first bind a strong man. You got to bind him with religion and philosophies and with drugs and weed. That's how you got to do that. And that's what did this scripture say? Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. The only way you gonna envy your oppressor and choose his ways is if you've been binded, you've been manipulated. You understand? That's the only way that can happen. You understand? And then guess what? The Christian pastor was manipulated, and he was able to get money from it. And he convinced black people to do it too. So now we follow all these different people, and our community is destroyed. It's like my son is watching class, and my Most High in Christ. Damn right, that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. You know what I mean? That's why the scripture said. Matter of fact, let's pull it out right quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 6:6. Hell yeah, Most High in Christ. My son sitting right here. Listening as well. One of them doing the most. The other one listening though. Let's go to Deuteronomy 6:6. Cause that's how you supposed to train your child of Iraq war. That's how every black Hispanic Native American man supposed to train their child of. Whether they listen to class or just sitting there and they hearing you teach. Trust me, they listen. You understand? So let's put it on there correctly. You're not putting it on there correctly. Put it on there correctly. You're not trying to put it on there correctly. You're not trying. You're trying to hurry up and rush. Put it on there correctly. All right, so Slaggy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6. And it said, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. Right. All the words that the Lord commanded us these days, it shall be in our heart. You know what I mean? What was those words that he commanded us? To keep all the laws, statutes, and commandments. It shall be in your mind. Everything that the Lord told us to do, leaving Egypt, that Moses commanded us to do, is supposed to be in your mind. You understand? And as a community today, what Moses taught us leaving the wilderness is not in our mind because we don't even know that we that same people. We think we just black. But if we knew that's why knowing who you are is so important as well. If we knew who he was, we'd know and remember that everything Moses told us was important. It's going to fall again, side. You don't got it right. It's going to fall again. You understand? So let's read that again. It said, and these words which I command you this day shall be in thine heart. What is your heart? Your mind. Right? And it said, just put it down. Put that back down. Leave it alone. Just put it down and leave it alone. Put it down on the ground. Leave it alone. All right, that's it. Don't worry about it. Leave it alone. And it said, then when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou arisest up, right? No matter what you doing, you supposed to be contemplating what the Lord told you to do. What did it say? Let's read it again. It said, it shall be in thine heart. Then when thou sittest in thine house, whether you sit in the house, you supposed to be contemplating, man, the laws of God, the statutes of God, the judgments of God. It's supposed to always be on your mind. You understand? Just like waking up in the morning, brush your teeth, washing your face, eating, using the bathroom, going to sleep, waking up, walking, teaching your kids your ABCs. It's supposed to be on your mind every single day. No, don't stop, my. It said, and when thou walkest by the way, stop. It said, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, no matter what you do, whether you laying down, whether you walking somewhere, going to the store, you understand, you sitting and watching TV, you always supposed to be thinking about the laws of God, the statutes of God, the judgments of God. You understand? Because if you're not doing that, guess what you leaving room for? It's like you idle. You got an idle mind. You leaving room for the devil to come. You leaving room for temptation to come. You understand? You leaving room for that. Let's keep reading. And it said, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. That's the duty of a man. That's the role of That's the role of a man. The role of a man is to teach these laws, statutes, and commandments to his daughters and his sons. as they're growing up. Why? So that when they get older, they won't depart from what they learn. You understand? It said, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. Like you supposed to teach them diligently to your children. Let your children know, hey, you can't eat that candy because it got pork in it. I know it's pretty and it's colorful. You understand? But that those gummies got pork in it, mama. You can't eat that. You understand? You supposed to let them know that. Oh no, no, you can't go to grandma's house. You can't eat pork. You know what I mean? You cannot eat pork. You cannot eat shrimp. You gotta eat crab, lobster, and clam. You can't eat that. You understand? Oysters. You can't eat those things. Okay? It's not good for you. Hey, no, you don't dress like that, mama. You bringing too much attention to yourself. You're 14 years old. You should not be dressing like that. No woman that's respectable dress like that. It's called private parts for a reason. You're supposed to keep it private. Nobody's supposed to see your breasts or see your behind. And you supposed to. That's what a man is supposed to teach his children. You understand? That's important. You're supposed to teach your son. Hey, man, look, man, don't be trying to walk around here and bully everybody and be hard, man. You understand? You ain't supposed to be. My dad always told me it ain't about who the hardest is, who the smartest. You understand? And you shall teach them to thy children, and shall talk slacking, and shall talk of them slacking, and shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. Right, and when you sit in the house, you supposed to teach. And much as I be quiet, and when you talk, you supposed to teach them to your children. When y'all in the house, instead of talking about sports all goddamn day and talk about who got a big behind and talking about what happened at your job and your workplace, you supposed to be teaching. Every situation is a situation for you to teach your children about the laws of God. Anytime something come on the news, it could be Joe Biden old ass up there talking about whatever the hell he talking about. You supposed to, man, your World War III coming up, man. It's in the Bible, man. Hey, man, Revelations, man. Whoopie whoop. You supposed to be doing that. Go over there, Dad. Thank you. Shalom. You supposed to be doing that. You understand? Anytime something pop on TV, so you see a video come on, and you know what I mean, like they had the BET Awards just came on. They got a goddamn song where the sisters talking about some Pound Town, Pound Town. The lyrics so graphic and so disgusting. It is crazy that this is an actual song. It's ridiculous. But you supposed to use moments like that. If your daughter's liking that song and think that song is funny and cute, but let her know that she's a whore. You understand? The Bible say, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You understand? That's you teaching them. Because if you don't teach them and you don't spend all day, whether y'all walking to the store and laying down, watching TV, going somewhere, just chilling in the house, if you don't spend every second trying to teach them about the laws of God, guess what? Look, this is what you up against, bro. I'm gonna teach you straight up. You up against social media, which is so goddamn strong. You up against Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You understand? TikTok. Then on top of that, you up against all her friends that's manipulating her and manipulating him. You up against the teacher. You up against the everything is against you raising your child in the way that he should go. It's absolutely against it. And that's why that's why this is the whole point of him saying this. Read this again, because it's heavy. And it said, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. No matter what you're doing, you're supposed to be teaching him about the laws of God, and teaching him how to be a man of God and a daughter of God. Teach her how to be a daughter of God. You're supposed to do that 24/7, because you got so many different avenues and just there's so many different things out there that's trying to manipulate your children to just do like you just. I had a singer, R&B singer, just came out with a book, right? And this brother said he wrote a book, and mind you, he's targeting the youth. He told them, don't listen to your parents, listen to me, do whatever make you happy. That's what you up against. And look, to a child, that sounds like heaven. Do whatever I want to do. Wow, that's like giving them a goddamn bank card with $1 million on it and saying order whatever game and V-Bucks and Roblox that you want. You know how happy they gonna be? That's the same thing with doctor. They tell him, man, do whatever you want to do. They're like, damn, do whatever I want to do. And then he and she start thinking about stuff that they ain't never thought about before. Yeah, and she grew up and she decided she want to cut her damn breasts off, become a man. That's crazy. That's what you up against, and that's why it's so important. Whether you walking, sleeping, laying down, chilling in the house, teach your kids these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you ain't gonna have to worry about them joining the gang, or being a homosexual or lesbian, or eating pork, or catching any of these diseases. You won't have to worry about it. You understand? Because you taught them so that when they get older, they ain't gonna depart from what you taught them. It's the same thing. You teach a brother how to sell dope when he's 13 years old. 9 times out of 10, when he grows up, he's never going to stop selling dope because that's what he was taught. You understand? Yeah. So that's very important. Is any more on that? All right. That was it on that. All right. So let me see. Let's go to Deuteronomy 5:29. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 29. And "Oh, it said, oh, that there was such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and it's like it might be well with them and with their children forever." Right? If you keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God, it's gonna be well with you for you and your children forever. That's what the Lord promised us. You understand? With your Christian pastor, he's promising the black woman that she get the man out the household, it's gonna be well for her. And honestly, it ain't well for her. Because then when that intruder kicking that door and bust that door down and try to run in the house, who you gonna be there? Like that brother will lay, whether he make more money than you or not, but let somebody run in this house, he gonna lay his life down happily for his family before you allow somebody to hurt him. And your Christian pastor and the oppressor is telling your woman to forfeit that, so she can be able to do what she want to have a hot girl summer and let the grandma raise the children. You know how disgusting that is, man. This is what black men are up against in this country. You understand? And it said, and it shall be well with them and with their children forever. Man, look, it shall be well with you and your children forever. That's what the Lord promised us. You understand? And if you keep that oath and you keep these law, statutes, and commandments and teach them to your children, you promising your children that you're gonna love, protect them and them and their mama for the rest of their life, and they ain't gotta worry about nothing. That's what you're doing. You understand? If you're not doing that, yeah, you death is on the way. You understand? That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so let's drop that. Let's go to let's put it up there. Give me some of that drink though. You understand? Let's drop that and let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54. And if you don't know, Deuteronomy is where you can go and you can see all the curses that's in the Bible. You understand? The Lord gave us laws and everything, right? And He told us that if we disobey these laws, then it was a judgment for us disobeying those laws. So if you want to read about the condition of black people, maybe go read Deuteronomy and then analyze your current situation. And you'll know if you God's chosen people or not. Deuteronomy 28:54. It said, uh, okay, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. Right. It said the man that's tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. And it's not talking about a brother that's soft. You understand? And tender and soft and delicate. You know what I mean? It's talking about the brother that warrior. You understand that will be looking out. That's supposed to be looking out for his family and his community, like it was in the '70s and stuff. Like in the '70s, you couldn't go to certain brothers' neighborhoods and then chill at their park and bust car windows and vandalize and put graffiti everywhere and you understand snatch purses. You couldn't do that in certain neighborhoods because you had brothers that was always in that neighborhood that if they catch you, they gonna beat the hell out you for doing that. If they catch you doing pimping in the selling box and doing all these and robbing and killing, you will be looked at as a scumbag, and they gonna beat the hell out you. You understand? That's it. That's how that was. So it's saying that brother, he ain't gonna be the brother that look out for the community no more. He gonna be the brother that 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 that's his sole intent is on murdering his ops. You understand? Like King Von versus FBG Duck. It said, so that the man that's very tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Right? You can't tell me this ain't talking about black people. You understand? We fit these curses to a T. Brothers, that we get out here and we decide that we want to live a lawless life and not follow the law, statutes, and commandments of God, and then in return we end up hating our brothers and we're getting all these different ops, hating our wives. You understand? Throwing them away, leaving our children. They say he shall leave his children. Is that not what the stigma that's put on black people in America? We leave our children, we deadbeats, which is not actually true. But is that not the stigma? Is that not the narrative? The Bible said that was going to happen. and we decided to not follow the laws of God. You understand? And then in return, if he leave that house, guess what's going to happen to that child? They say it's a study that say children got a higher chance, like an 80%, 90% chance of surviving when the father is in the home, even if the mother is not there. So imagine if that father is not there. What's the percentage of that child surviving? Gang violence, drug addiction, child molestation, homosexuality. You understand? Diseases, poverty. What's the chances? It's slim to none. It's slim to none. You understand? And the Lord said this was a curse that he was going to put on our people for being disobedient. And that's why what we do in the ISUBK, telling our people to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of God is so important. You understand? Because we know the hell that we've been through by disobeying God. We tried everything else. Now it's time to actually try to follow the Lord. Because we tried everything. You know what I'm saying? We tried Islam, we tried Christianity, we tried burning sage, we tried their religion, we tried their holidays, we tried their birthdays, and you know what I'm saying? We tried every single goddamn thing, and nothing's worked. But you know what? There's something that is working out here, and that's the ISUBK and the Commanders of Honor. It's working, for sure. You understand? Let me see. Is there any more on that? Okay, so we're gonna drop that, and then we're gonna get Isaiah chapter 10. Yeah, if that following into the household, man, you got a rude awakening. Because once he turned 13, 14 years old, and that father's not in the house, man, it ain't nothing mom can do. It ain't nothing your mama can do. And he understands that, he knows that. You know what I'm saying? So let's go Isaiah chapter 52. Isaiah chapter 50. Slakia, Isaiah chapter 51 and 20. Slakia. And it said, Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. Oh, you hear that? The Bible say, thy sons have fainted. What is it talking about when it say thy sons have fainted? You understand? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of the streets, right? Thy sons have fainted. What is that talking about? Like your son is supposed to be a symbol of your strength. You know what I'm saying? You get up in age, you become a teenager, you a young adult, become an adult, you have a son, he grows up, become a teenager, a young man, you understand? He's your strength. He symbolizes your strength when you have a son. You understand? But what did it say? Thy sons have fainted. They say our sons is fainted though. Our sons are supposed to be looked at a symbol of our strength. You understand when they reach a certain maturity and a certain age. But it said our sons have fainted. Meaning what? Our sons are weak. You know what I'm saying? Our sons are weak. How did our sons get weak? They got weak because of drugs. They got weak because of joining the gang and going to prison. You understand? They got weak but getting put on child support, getting kicked out. Our sons became weak, man. You understand? Our sons became weak becoming Christians because of religion. What did it say? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets. Right? It said our sons have fainted and they lie at the head of all the streets. Meaning what? You go, no matter where you go to in the ghetto, you see brothers on the corner. You understand? I think it was one movie that came out. They said or it was somebody that told me that they went to certain neighborhoods. I think it was a movie, and they was like everybody was outside. And they couldn't figure out why everybody was outside. It was like we just driving, everybody was just outside. Everywhere, it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? That's what black people do in the ghetto. We hang out outside at the head of the streets. That's what this scripture is talking about. They lie at the head of the streets. You want to run into black people? Go to any neighborhood. You understand? Go to Mac Road. Go to 4th Avenue. Go to Del Paso Heights. You understand? Go to Oakland. Go to 10th and you know what I mean, and wherever they from out there, 10th Street. Go to International. All those streets off International. You understand? Go to East Palo Alto. I'm a one. Shalom Christ. You know what I'm saying? Go to anywhere everywhere you go in the black community, you're gonna see brothers lying at the head of the street. They're gonna be on the corner. And what they doing on the corner? They selling dope. You understand? They getting at women. You know what I'm saying? They waiting on dope fiends to pull up. You understand? They waiting on their plug to pull up. You understand? They holding their pistols and shit. They got their pistols inside pizza boxes up under their goddamn cars so the police won't do stop and frisk and take their gun and send them to jail. You know what I'm saying? They got a head gun, Draco hid in the bushes in the garbage can. You understand? It said our sons fainted. You know what I'm saying? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of the streets as a wild bull in a net. Right, our sons fainted. They lie at the head of the streets as a wild bull in a net. You understand? And what do they call them in Philly? They call them young bulls. They're like, oh, what's up, my young bull? Shout out to Knock TV. You understand? What's up, my young bull? You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. That's what they're saying about. They lying ahead of the streets like a wild bull in a net. You ever seen a bull in a net? He's going crazy. He trying to get out of this goddamn net. He trying to get out of this trap. You understand? That's what it's called. That's what it say like a wild bull in the net. He in the trap spot. He in the trap. He in the bando. You understand? He in his bag. That's what it's talking about. Everybody was talking about the trap for the last 10, 20 years. Everybody been talking about being in the trap, the bando, the Migos, everybody. That's what this is talking about. And then they selling every type of drugs in the goddamn trap. Not knowing that they inside of an actual trap. You know what I mean? That's why they lying at the goddamn head of the street. That's why they faint. Because they took on the culture and they picked up a vice that they thought was going to help them that never helped them. You understand? And who convinced them to do that? No Christian pastor. He the one who everybody idolized. Who you think that these pimps follow? Not just the pimps, everybody follow the goddamn pastor. Why you think Bishop Magic John Juan named his bishop? Because he was a pastor and he followed the pastor. You understand? Who else? You got a Sinful to P. Why is his name Sinful to P? Because he follows the pastor. Everybody. Why do you think everybody parents walk around talking about some church? What's going on, church? Because they idolize and they romanticize over preachers. Because they see that preachers use an avenue of manipulation to be able to get the money that they got, to be able to get that bag from women. You understand? They implemented that. And it's the same thing with drug dealers. You understand? Everybody want to be like the Christian pastor in the black community, and they don't even know it. You understand? So let's drop that. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let me see. I'm gonna pull some more scriptures. I'm gonna get this last scripture. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Let's go to Jeremiah right quick. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. You know what I mean? And then also, if you don't know, this exact class that I'm teaching right now, Lord allow, I will be doing a lecture on this at the California Cookout. God will cover the door. He said everything is Tawab. You know what I mean? So I will be doing a lecture on this at the California Cookout, bringing more extensive research on exactly what I'm talking about with more scriptures. All right. So be prepared and look out for that. The California Cookout, I think, is in September or October. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hit up all these cookouts, not just the California one. We got the Midwest Fire Weekend coming up. We got the New York cookout coming up. Make sure I hit these cookouts up. And to me, it's like a mini Passover. You understand? But let's go to Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. All right, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. You see that? The Lord said before he formed us in the womb, you understand? Before he formed us in the belly, he ordained us to be a prophet, not to be a gangster, following the Italians. He didn't ordain us to be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? And a gang member. He didn't. That's not what the Lord ordained black men to do. That's not our job. That's not our culture. It has nothing to do with us. You understand? What did it say? I'm reading it again. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. The Lord made black men, Hispanic, Native American men. He ordained us to be prophets unto our people, man. What we doing in ISUBK, we come from similar backgrounds as brothers that was in gangs and going to prison and shooting and getting shot and pimping and hoeing and, you know what I mean, and stealing and robbing. We come from those similar backgrounds, but then we understand that that's not what the Lord set up for us. The Lord would never say, you believe in God, you understand that He would never set something like that up for you. What the Lord set up for us is to be a prophet unto our people. You know what I'm saying? And to teach them to turn away from their wicked ways, to die and be put to death. You understand? Like what the scripture saying in Revelation of their city, lying, their dead bodies lying in the streets of Sodom and Gomorrah. Our dead bodies lying in the streets because of the philosophies and the doctrines that we have accepted as ours. You understand? With that being said, this is unindoctrinated joining gangs. Y'all shout out all the brothers, y'all shout out the sisters. Like and share the class, the water.